Hey there, everybody. If you're like me, you have all the best intentions to study the scriptures every day or read through the recent general conference talks, uh, but end up getting distracted by all the demands of life and find that your study habits may not be as consistent or effective as you'd like them to be. The nice thing about having a willing heart, though, is that it only takes a little nudge to get that willing heart to act the right way. So, I have a little gospel life hack to help your willing heart with the daily nudge that it needs.
I'm going to show you some steps to follow on an iPhone. I welcome anyone with an Android device to comment about how this process might be different on their phone, but to start, we're going to launch the Gospel Library app. Now, let's say you have a desire or prompting to read, watch, or listen to all the general conference talks between now and next conference. That is where creating a study plan could really help you out. Once you've launched the Gospel Library app, you'll see an icon that looks like a calendar right here on the library home screen. Select that. Now I've cleared out my study plans to show you what it looks like starting fresh. So let's go ahead and create a plan. You'll get a prompt about what you'll do to create the plan. Tap Next at the top right to proceed. From here, you will select the content you want to include in your study plan. Since we want to review the October 2020 conference talks before the next conference, we're going to select General Conference and then October 2020. Now, though this next screen says setting a schedule is optional, since I know that I want to review all the talks before the next General Conference, I'm going to tap the slider here and create the schedule. First, I'm going to skip down first and set my end date before anything else. I know that the next General Conference will be on the first weekend in April 2021. So I'll want to make sure I finish before the Friday before General Conference. So I go in and I'm going to set a custom end date. So I'm going to scroll around this calendar app until I find April, and there we go. April 2nd is when we want to finish this by. Now let's jump back up to the top. I know that I have just shy of 6 months to go through all the talks. And so I think once a week is probably enough. Now, before you start this plan, consider the best days and times that work with your schedule for some gospel study. Maybe you would listen to a talk once a week while on a run, or maybe you find that the best time for you to watch or listen to a talk or to listen to scriptures is while doing the dinner dishes. Just think ahead before setting your schedule, and you will set one that leads to success rather than one that you'll always push off and hit snooze on. Now, for me, I know that my Wednesday mornings are usually quiet and that I could block out 20 to 30 minutes on a Wednesday morning to do some gospel study. So I'm going to tap on that W for Wednesday. Now, when I look below, I see at the bottom here that the reading estimate says 2 chapters per day. Now, that might be a little too much time for me to devote each Wednesday morning to listen to 2 talks. So, I'm going to add Friday morning to my schedule as well. So that then sets me up that every Wednesday and Friday I'm gonna listen to a conference talk, and that gets me about 1 conference talk per day. Now this last option, this allow chapters to be split down there, that's more for setting scripture reading goals, where the scheduler can distribute your scripture reading evenly across the days by verses rather than chapters. Now I think I'm good here, so I'm going to select next. And here is where the good stuff really happens. This is where I can set reminders for me to do my conference reading. I'm going to hit this slider and set this to remind me to listen to my general conference talk at 8:45 in the morning. There we go. And this will apply to both Wednesday and Friday mornings. And then I'm going to hit next. This screen here lets me confirm all the settings I've selected. Maybe after setting it up, I realized I did something wrong or I want to make a quick change. You can make those changes by just tapping on that real fast in that section and then just proceeding through to the end. I also can edit the title of my study plan here by hitting that. And maybe I just want to call this something like Conference Talks, because I'm a pretty simple, straightforward person. And that just would say a lot to me about what I'm supposed to be doing with fewer words. And then I'm just going to hit save. So based on this plan, as I look through here, it looks like I will have all the talks listened to by February 19th. And so maybe that's great. Maybe that's what I'm going for. That'll be perfect. I get done a bit early. And maybe I might look at it and say, well, maybe I won't do it on Fridays then. And I'll show you how you can make that edit. Now, the nice thing is as I read each of these or listen to them or watch them, it's going to check them off, like with this little blue check mark next to it. Now, you can also manually check it off if, for instance, you read the talk in the Ensign one day rather than on the app. And so then you can still keep track of your progress and making sure that you're accomplishing your study plan without having any real hiccups or oh, I forgot, did I actually do that talk or not? Now I can always go back and I can edit any part of the plan by hitting that little pencil icon up at the top. Now you'll see that it says I'm 5 days ahead because I just checked a bunch off. And maybe when I start the plan, or if I ever want to edit the plan midway through, I'll want it to recalculate so that it still helps me accomplish my goal within the time. And maybe that's because I fell behind, or maybe I've jumped ahead and I can spread things out a little bit and maybe get rid of that Friday morning as well. I'm not going to make any changes to this, but if I go back to the study plan screen, you'll see that I've got my study plan. It also shows the percent of the plan that I've accomplished. I can create additional study plans for reading scriptures or come follow me lessons or whatever else that it is that you want to study by hitting this little plus button here at the bottom right of the screen, and then just follow the same steps that I demonstrated before.
You may have heard the phrase, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. For those of us who need some help combating the weakness of the flesh to strengthen our willing spirits, technology solutions like this are a true blessing from God. Creating a plan with reminders set for times that will work best for you will help your willing heart succeed at doing the things that it wants to do. Good luck in pursuing your spiritual goals.